Welcome to English Rise. Before we start, answer this in the comments. Which emotion controls you the most in your life right now? Anger, anxiety, jealousy, sadness, fear, frustration? Write it clearly, give it a name, because you can't take control of something you refuse to see. Now, let's begin. Your life is not controlled only by your plans, your goals, or your logic. Your life is controlled every day by your emotional reactions. Think about it. How many decisions have you taken in anger that you later regretted? How many opportunities have you lost because fear said, "Don't try"? How many relationships have you damaged because you couldn't control your words in a moment of emotion? You say, "I want a better life. I want to change. I want to grow." But if your emotions remain completely wild, your life will keep circling around the same problems. Because your emotions hold the steering wheel. This doesn't mean emotions are bad. They are not your enemy. They are signals. But for many people, those signals turn into orders. Anger says, "Speak now." You explode. Anxiety says, "Imagine the worst." You obey. Sadness says, "Stay in bed." You disappear. Fear says, "Don't risk anything." You shrink. You are not living your life. You are living your mood. Controlling your emotions does not mean feeling nothing. It does not mean becoming cold, robotic, or fake. It means this. You feel deeply, but you decide calmly. Your emotions can knock on the door, but they do not get to be the king. Emotion. I am angry. You. I hear you, but I will decide what I do. Emotion. I am afraid. You. Okay, but fear is not my boss. That is emotional control. And without it, your life will be a series of emotional accidents. In this journey, you will see why you lose control so easily, what happens in your brain when emotion takes over, how to create space between what you feel and what you do, and how controlling your emotions can change the direction of your entire life. This is not about positive vibes. This is about power. Part 2. What happens in your brain when you lose control? When something happens, someone disrespects you. You receive a message. You see something online. You remember a painful moment. Your brain reacts fast. The emotional part of your brain lights up like fire. Your heart beats faster. Your muscles get tense. Your breathing changes. In that moment, your brain has one priority: survival. It doesn't care about wisdom, about long-term consequences, about your values, about being fair. It cares about protection, attack, escape, defense. So it pushes you to shout, close off, run away, scroll for hours, eat to numb, say something you'll regret, fast reactions, short thinking. The logical part of your brain is still there, just quieter. It knows, if I say this, I might destroy something. If I react like this, I will regret later. If I act from anger, I will make the problem bigger. But the emotional wave is so strong that the logical voice is drowned. Later, when the emotion goes down, you think, why did I do that? That's not who I want to be. I knew better. But in the moment, I didn't care. That moment is where your life is being shaped. Again and again. Emotional control is not about killing the wave. You can't. It's about learning to surf it, to recognize, this is a wave. It will pass. I don't have to make big decisions inside it. Emotion is a storm. Decision is a ship. If you move your ship aggressively in the middle of the storm, you crash. Wise captains wait for a better moment to change direction. You need to become the captain of your emotional storms. Part 3. The space that can save your life. Between what you feel and what you do, there is a small space. Most people live like this. Trigger, emotion, reaction. No space, no pause, no choice. Someone says something. You feel anger. You attack. You feel anxiety. You run to your phone. You feel lonely. You send that message you'll regret later. You feel envy. You start comparing and hating. But the most powerful people live like this. Trigger, emotion, space, response. The space is everything. The space is where your intelligence lives. The space is where your values live. The space is where your future lives. When you create space, you can ask, what am I feeling right now? What do I really want to do? What action will I respect tomorrow? Without that space, you are just a reaction machine. How do you create that space? Not with magic, with training. Simple practices like breathing deeply before answering, counting to 10 before sending a message, physically moving away from the situation for a few minutes, saying, I need a moment instead of exploding. These things look small. They are not. Every time you create just a few seconds of space, you are weakening the dictatorship of emotion. You are telling your brain, we don't react immediately anymore. First, we notice, then we decide. That is emotional control in practice. Part 4. You keep feeding the emotions that hurt you. Some emotions don't just appear, you feed them. Think about anxiety, anger, envy, insecurity. They grow when you give them certain thoughts, certain environments, certain habits. You say, I don't know why I feel so anxious, but you check your phone 200 times a day. You compare your life with everyone online. You sleep badly. You drink too much coffee. You never slow down. You are feeding anxiety like a pet. Then you act surprised when it starts to control you. You say, I don't know why I'm so angry lately. But you keep replaying old hurts. You talk about the same painful story again and again. You stay close to people who only complain and hate. You justify your temper. That's just how I am. You are feeding anger. You say, I don't know why I feel so insecure. But you constantly compare your body, your career, your English, your life. You surround yourself with people who only value appearance, money, status. You never honor your own small wins. You are feeding insecurity. Your emotional state is not just a mystery, it's also a consequence. Consequences of what you watch, what you listen to, what you repeat in your head, who you spend time with, how you treat your body. Emotions are not 100% under your control, but they are not 0% either. You cannot choose which emotions visit you, but you can choose which ones you give a bed, a kitchen, and keys to the house. If you want emotional control, you must ask, what am I doing every day that makes this emotion stronger? For example, if anxiety is your monster, look at your sleep, your phone use, your breathing, your mental noise. If anger is your monster, look at how you deal with frustration, with expectations, with old resentments. If sadness is your monster, look at your isolation, your movement, your thoughts about yourself. You are not guilty for everything you feel, but you are responsible for what you feed. Part 5. Stop trying to control emotions. Control behavior. Many people think, to control my life, I must control what I feel. They try to never feel jealous, never feel angry, never feel afraid, never feel sad. Impossible. You cannot stop waves from appearing in the ocean, but you can control what you do when they arrive. Emotional adults don't say, "I will never feel X again." They say, "When I feel X, this is how I will behave." You can't choose. "I will never feel anger." You can choose. "When I feel anger, I will not shout, insult, or send messages. I will pause, breathe, and speak later." You can't choose. "I will never feel fear." You can choose. "When I feel fear, I will not run away automatically. I will still do small actions in the right direction." Behavior is where your power lives. Imagine a person who feels anger, fear, jealousy, sadness, but still acts with respect, courage, responsibility, kindness. That person is emotionally strong. Now imagine someone who feels those same things and obeys them every time. That person is emotionally weak, even if they seem loud, aggressive, or strong from the outside. Strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of behavior in the presence of emotion. So from now on, instead of asking, "How can I stop feeling this?" ask, "When I feel this, what kind of person do I want to be?" Then design 1 or 2 clear rules for each strong emotion in your life. For example, when I feel anger, I don't respond immediately. I don't shout. I will take 10 deep breaths before I speak. When I feel anxiety, I don't escape to my phone instantly. I will slow my breathing. I will do one small concrete action. When I feel sadness, I will not isolate completely. I will move my body a little. I will send one message to someone I trust. You are programming your future behavior. Part 6. A simple protocol to control your emotions. Let's turn this into something practical. Step 1. Identify your main emotion. Choose one that dominates your life now. Anger, anxiety, jealousy, sadness, fear, frustration. Right now, the emotion that controls me the most is. Step 2. Observe the pattern. Ask, when does it appear? What usually triggers it? What do I normally do after I feel it? Be honest. No drama, just data. Step 3. Create your space. Decide one simple action to create distance between the emotion and your reaction. For example, breathe slowly for 30 seconds. Count to 10. Drink a glass of water. Walk to another room. This is your pause ritual. Step 4. Define your behavior rule. Write 1 or 2 sentences. When I feel, I will not. I will instead. Clear, concrete. Step 5. Reduce what feeds that emotion. Ask, what in my life makes this emotion stronger? Then remove or reduce even one thing. Less news. Less toxic conversations. Less late-night phone use. Less replaying the same story in your head. Small changes, big effect. You will fail sometimes. You will still overreact. You will still say things you regret. But if you practice this protocol again and again, you will notice something. The distance between emotion and reaction will get bigger. Your recovery time will get faster. Your regrets will get smaller. That is progress. Part 7. Emotional control is self-respect. Controlling your emotions is not about controlling others. It is about respecting your future self, your values, your relationships, your goals. When you let emotions control you, you are saying, my momentary feeling is more important than my long-term life. When you learn to feel without exploding, without running, without destroying, you are saying, my future matters. My relationships matter. My word matters. I matter. That is self-respect. You will never be perfect. You will never be completely calm. You are human, but you can become the kind of human who feels deeply but doesn't drown, gets angry but doesn't become cruel, feels afraid but still moves, feels sad but doesn't give up on life. That person is dangerous in the best way because they are not a slave to every emotional wave. They can build things. They can maintain relationships. They can stay on a path. Part 8. How your body affects your emotions. We talk about emotions like they only live in the mind, but your emotions also live in your body. When you are sleep deprived, full of sugar and junk food, sitting all day, never seeing daylight, breathing fast and shallow, your body is already in a state of stress, irritation, fragility. Then a small problem happens, and you explode. You think, I have no emotional control. Sometimes, yes, but sometimes your biology is just screaming. A tired, inflamed, overstimulated body produces a tired, reactive, unstable mind. Look at your last emotional crisis. How many hours did you sleep that week? How much time did you spend on screens? How much did you move your body? What were you eating and drinking? This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it explains why your reactions feel so intense. It's not just you, it's your state. If you want more emotional control, you must respect these basics. Sleep. A chronically tired brain is an over-emotional brain. Movement. Your body needs to discharge tension. Breathing. Fast chest breathing signals danger. Slow, deep breathing signals safety. Stimulation. Constant noise, notifications, and information keep your system in alert mode. When your body is calmer, your emotions are easier to handle. When your body is constantly stressed, even small emotions feel like storms. Taking care of your body is not vanity. It's emotional strategy. Part 9. Turn emotional pain into growth. You will not avoid emotional pain in life. You will be rejected, misunderstood, disrespected, disappointed, afraid, lonely sometimes. You don't control that, but you control what the pain becomes. For some people, emotional pain becomes bitterness, cynicism, hatred, self-destruction. They close, they harden, they say never again. I'll never trust. I'll never try. Their emotions build a prison. For others, emotional pain becomes humility, wisdom, empathy, strength. They ask, what can I learn here? What truth about me is this emotion showing? How can I grow instead of just suffer? They still feel the pain. They still cry. They still struggle. But they use it. They don't romanticize suffering. They just refuse to waste it. When you feel a strong emotion, after the first wave, you can ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Maybe. Your anger shows a boundary you are not protecting. Your jealousy shows an area of your life you are neglecting. Your anxiety shows a place where you need more preparation or honesty. Your sadness shows something that needs to be accepted or changed. Emotions are not just noise. They are information. Emotional maturity is learning to listen without obeying blindly. So when life hurts you, you have two options. Let the pain control you, or let the pain shape you into someone deeper. You may not control which emotions visit you, but you can decide who you become after they leave. Part 10. Control your emotions. Change your future. Your future will not be created only by your dreams or plans. It will be created by what you do in emotional moments. The moment you're angry and want to destroy. The moment you're afraid and want to run away. The moment you're sad and want to give up. The moment you're anxious and want to escape. Those moments are small doors to completely different lives. If you always choose explosion, escape, silence, self-attack, your life will follow one path. If you slowly learn to choose pause, respect, courage, honesty, your life will follow another. Same person, same world, different emotional choices, different destiny. From now on, see emotional control like this. Not as I need to be calm all the time, but as I am learning to be the kind of person who feels everything but is not controlled by anything. You will fail. You will overreact. You will say wrong things. But if you are aware, if you apologize, if you learn, if you practice, you will become more dangerous in the best possible way. Harder to manipulate, harder to provoke, harder to break, harder to stop, because you are not a slave to the emotional weather. You have an internal anchor. You've reached the end of control your emotions, control your life. Here on English Rise. In this session, you didn't just practice English listening. You explored your inner storms, what triggers you, what you feed, how you react, and who you could become if you learn to pause. Use this video as training. Listen again on a difficult day. Shadow the parts that hit you the most. Write your own protocol for anger, fear, anxiety, or sadness. Practice the pause again and again. And if you want more content that improves your English while strengthening your mind, your discipline, and your emotional life, subscribe to English Rise. You may not control everything that happens to you. But when you learn to control how you respond, you are no longer just surviving your emotions. You are using them to build the life you want.